welcome to this edition of Madman with the Show, the year in review 2023, streaming, as I would call it, streaming edition, or the streaming wars. And, 2023, a lot has happened. And the thing about it is, you got to remember now, what we're looking at from here on is the beginning of the end of the streaming wars. And I'll tell you why when I believe this, because from what you're looking at and what has been going on right now throughout the industry is a massive change that's coming. 2024 is going to just sink it in several different directions on there. First of all, and this is straight off the bat, the end of cable TV is here. I hate to tell you, folks out there, those of you hanging on to cable TV, the end of cable TV has begun heavily at this point. And the reason is, and I'll tell you, is look at the situation that's been going on lately. And, we reported on another edition, I believe that was Fast Five. Several cable companies were starting to lock down, that they're basically moving away. They're either shutting down or going to streaming. Just in the last couple of weeks, we've seen places like in Nebraska, Indiana, companies like Bailey Cable TV, which basically they've already shuttered. Bailey Cable TV has shuttered their services on there. Duo Broadband is another one that they will shut down and won't even move to streaming either. Companies like Great Plains Communications is switching people over to Fire Sticks or Apple TV, Google TV. They're trying to switch them over to streaming, get them into a streaming package now. KPU, that's a small cable company in Alaska. It'll be shutting down its TV service in 2024. And here, this should show you right there that, hey, small town in Alaska, I think it's Ketchikan, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, is shutting down their cable services. Because a lot of this is going on. And the major thing is you have the two largest services. Technically it's three, but it's two right now because the third hasn't really fully announced that they're going in that direction. Is Spectrum is moving to streaming, and so is Verizon Fios, because both of these companies are already offering streaming boxes. They're offering streaming plans now. Which Spectrum, and this is why I always said the third one hasn't really fully announced it. Spectrum has a deal with Comcast to use Xumo boxes now. And, now you're seeing the push to move toward that, where basically streaming is on there. Because also you have channel, and this is partially because of Disney and Spectrum, you have some channels that are going to begin to shut down eventually down the line, such as a lot of the Disney channels, FX, FXX, and a lot of those and many others that are coming down the pike. And you may ask yourself, well, if this is this the end of linear TV? Let's put that aside for now, because we want to discuss that part of it as well, because there is an important part of that story as well. But, here's the situation with streaming now at this point. You have multiple companies that are struggling now. Give you an example. Peacock right now, with they're shutting down their streaming service in the United Kingdom. That's a major loss for them. That's a major loss in the market for them, considering that their competitors like Tubi is looking to move into that marketplace. And again, because a company like Tubi is already putting a foothold in Latin America, and they're already in Australia and a couple of little countries in between, and Canada, the United States, but they want to move across into Europe itself. Now, the only thing that's really keeping the Peacock going is a lot of the wrestling, certain programming. But the thing about it is, it's not going to last them that long. And this goes for several other services. You know, for example, Paramount, which is now beginning to discontinue its cheaper bundles and moving subscribers to a more expensive plan with Showtime. You know, they're like a Paramount Plus Essential bundle that, you know, cost $8. Now they're going to be stopping offering, because Paramount has lost a lot of money, considering that all the programming they've done, you know, all the really bad programming. I mean, they own Pluto. Now, Pluto should be doing a lot better, but Tubi is beating them out in the ratings in the top. I mean, Pluto's at the bottom in the top 10. Should be a lot higher at this point, considering that they do have some great programming. I mean, they have a Godzilla channel. They still have a Doctor Who channel. They have a Stargate, Star Trek. They no longer, Dark Shadows is gone on there. They have a lot of content from the Paramount listings on there. They have old TV shows. They have a CSI channel on multiple CSI shows. I mean, they have good content on there. They should be banking in a lot more. But you know, when you look at that, you're seeing that they're going to be laying off a lot of people come this soon. And then you have Sherry Redstone's talking about selling her controlling interest to Paramount Global. And that is going to be a major shakeup to the company. Does this mean that the company is up for sale? The way it's sounding is that it's mostly going to be her shares. And that's the controlling interest. Who's going to be controlling selling this? I mean, supposedly that Skydance Media is looking to purchase those shares. And that could shake up the company, and it may not be the same company down the line. I mean, it depends on how this portion of the sale of her controlling interest goes. You know, we have to look at that. I mean, when you're saying you're going to be cutting people on there, your equity is not as good as it used to be. You know, the Paramount itself, the site, it's, you know, it's not 100%. It's you know, like I said, Tubi does better than some of these pay sites on there. Then, of course, they're making deals with Apple TV and other streaming sites, because, I mean, think about it for a second. The smartest company to just had gotten out of streaming in the very beginning was Sony. Sony ended up selling their shares out of Crackle, which, you know, Crackle still needs a lot of work on their site, because I know they sold the Chicken Soup to the Soul, that media conglomerate, because I know I've had problems where it crashes very easily on certain on phones, on television. I don't even put it out. You think, no, it's not even on Samsung anymore, on the Samsung apps. You know, it used to be there a while ago, and now it's no longer available. Now, you know, it could be that ends up to be Paramount Plus and Peacock get out of this business and just go back to sell their library. Because basically the libraries are up for grab. When it comes to, you know, if a company's going to end up their stock being bought out, their majority shareholder sells out their stock, you know, you have to remember the library that a company like, say, Paramount or Peacock has, because that's what Sony did. Sony sold, you know, their rights to certain shows to other systems. That's where they're making their money these days. This is how they're keeping themselves alive. And this is why Disney Disney Plus is trying to stay alive by, if you haven't seen what they're trying to do, is they're trying to merge Hulu together and try to get get that Hulu customer in there as soon as they pay off Comcast, if they ever pay off Comcast. Now you say, well, they gave $8 million. No, that's what they owed. If I'm not mistaken, that's what they owed Comcast. It hasn't been paid over. Comcast still has a percentage interest in the company itself. Now, if Comcast was smart enough, they would try to buy it off of Disney Plus, because Disney has a lot of problems right now. It is, they're at, I believe, what is it, a $70 billion loss for the year, for the entire company itself? The entire company is struggling. They are in deep trouble financially, and by basically legal matters as well, because of all the things that have been uncovered. They said because there's going to be, to a point, there are going to be some people going to jail over at Disney. How does that affect the streaming? It's it's going to affect everything from streaming straight on to the amusement parks, and that is going to be the major situation for them. Hulu is what's going to keep probably Disney alive for a little bit longer, but who knows? Who knows on that? Then there's Apple TV, which, it's like I say to myself, why Apple TV? I mean, does anyone really watch Apple TV? I know they're in the rate on there, but I don't hear people talking about, oh, I saw that great show on Apple TV. No. I hear more people say toward Amazon than Apple TV. I said, oh, Reacher. I saw Reacher on there, and I saw this show. I didn't like this show on there. But, Apple has a couple of shows on there. I said they have one or two shows that might be feasible on there. The rest is like, their newer shows is just, they're garbage. They're real garbage. Best thing to do is just to get out of that part of the business. That was the worst mistake I think Apple has made on there. Now, getting back to Amazon. Amazon right now, they have their Freevee. I always say Freeview for some reason. It's Freevee, which has added a lot of content on there, and it's beginning to expand somewhat. I get to watch Hogan's Heroes on there, even though it's on MeTV. But I get to see a lot of Hogan's Heroes, Adam 12, and some of the old classics. They have some good classic stuff on there that basically, that the people do like on there. And I think that's what's going to keep the Freevee app going. And I believe that will end up to be a competitor to Tubi down the line. Because right now, Tubi is super strong right now. And it's just maintaining to increase in strength day by day, month to month, and year to year. As far as subscribers, they're not toward some of the other bigger streamers, but they're starting to get there. Because you have to remember, here's the thing about Tubi. They have the viewership. Which is, they have a tremendous viewership. Subscribership is people are weaning to subscribe to it because they say, maybe down the line I'm going to have to pay. Right now, Tubi is making some great money as far as their advertisement. Fast channels and AVOD is doing very well for Tubi, as they're trying to add more live sports, more live channels. They have that deal with Warner Discovery, with some of their product. They just added a lot of the DC hero stuff. You can watch a lot of the Superman movies, Batman movies, some of the animated movies also as well, TV shows. They have Batwomans on there, Swamp Thing is on there, and every day they add something new. And the thing about it is they've added a lot of great classics. I mean, you can get Forbidden Planet right now. Ice Station Zebra, one of my favorites. Ice Station Zebra. If you haven't seen Ice Station Zebra, that is a great thrill. You know, Ernest Borgnine, Rock Hudson, all-star cast. You know, it's about a race to the top of the world to retrieve a piece of satellite that has crashed there. And they've lost contact with a place called Ice Station Zebra on there that has been communicating this, but basically they've lost contact, so they send a nuclear sub up to investigate what is going on and to retrieve that piece of satellite. Meanwhile, the Russians are on their way up there as well. It's a real good thriller intrigue film. It's very long. I'll tell you this: it is a lengthy film. I believe I haven't played it on Tubi, but there is an intermission break in between, a small little intermission break. With little music. But they used to do that with some of those older films from back then, where they used to just like the Ten Commandments does it, the Music Man does it, and a couple other films that they have intermission. Gone with the Wind has one. Because back when these ran in the movie theaters, it allowed you to get up, go to the restroom, and come back, or maybe you want to get some more popcorn. It allowed you on that. And I think they should bring that back for some of the longer films that are running in the theaters now. That 3-hour stretch. If the movie is more than 2.5 hours, they should give a intermission break. Allow you to go to the bathroom and come back. But like I said, Tubi is done very well for itself. It is becoming very profitable at the profit, in the profit margin for them. They expect to make their first billion in ad revenue, I believe, by next year. The entire AVOD, and FAST channels is expected to do $10 billion in the next couple of years, and this is all the companies that does that. And speaking of Warner, the Max site is Zaslav has cut everything very well, but he has reorganized the company, and he's reorganizing it. Max could be one of the leading fronts if it's done correctly. People have complained about Zaslav and all that, but what has he done? He is rebuilding the channel left and right. Remember, AT&T, ruined the company in ways, and then the old time Warner days as well. This is a company that was struggling to begin with. Yes, they had to cut the content. People were pissed off. The content they took off Cartoon Network, all the Cartoon Network shows on there. But what has happened to Cartoon Network? Cartoon Network itself, as a channel, is becoming the Adult Swim channel. Look at how much, because basically, and a lot of people out there are fans of some of this stuff, but look at what is popular on that channel. That channel looks at more of an adult viewership than youth. The Cartoonino in the beginning of the morning on there, that is still a little popular to on there, but the rest of the Cartoon Network day is not like it used to be as far as viewership. You have Adult Swim starting at 5 p.m. with that Cartoon Block, classic Cartoon Block, and it's doing well for itself. Then you have all the shows that come on there, all the classic shows, all the newer shows. I mean, we're just now finishing up the new season of Aqua Teen Hunger Force, the new season of Rick and Morty. We're getting Rick and Morty, the animated series. The anime, excuse me. Let me refresh myself. Rick and Morty, the anime, coming next year. You have a lot of content coming to Toonami now. They're buying a lot of great content. More Dr. Stone, more Demon Slayer. They brought back GPX for a special, which hasn't been shown in a long time. And there's more new anime content coming as they continue to expand. And I said this, you know, and I keep saying this. You want to make more of a successful Adult Swim, you know, bring back the afternoon block of Toonami, and we're talking the classic stuff, not the newer stuff, the classic stuff. Bring back the old Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Ronin Warriors, and some of the older classic anime that made Toonami and Cartoon Network a hit. That's what you got to do, and that's what they're looking for, because people on linear TV, they're looking for the oldies. They're looking for the the classics. You know, the MeTV does very well with its cartoons and regular programming on there. You have the movies, which are, you know, they show classic films on there. You have Charge right now that has Law and Order, Criminal Intent, the CSIs, all the criminals. You got Comet TV with a lot of the science fiction shows, you know, and horrors and stuff like that, and many others. And this is what goes on for that part of linear. But as far as Warner and Max, you know, they have Turner Classics and stuff like that, a lot of that programming on there, and they're going to be licensing that stuff, a lot of it, out to make money. So in a way, Max hopefully should stay in this field on there, unlike what's happening at Peacock and Paramount. Amazon should stay within this for quite some time. Disney, you know, depending on how it goes, you know, Disney is going to be one of the ones that are probably going to be out of this business sooner than later. And remember, who's the number one streaming service right now? Who's the number one? Guess what? You're watching it right now. YouTube and YouTube TV, basically, they are the number one streaming service overall for all streaming, because not only you can get us, you know, which that's the way it should be, but, you know, you also got movies, television that you got on there. There are subscribers, there's news, live streamers, you know, Friday Night Tights and many other shows on there, just like the old cable TV days of Public Access and Channel J. You know, you get all this programming on there, and that's what's keeping YouTube up on top more than any other of the streaming services on there. A lot of these streaming services will give their right arm just to be up on top, and they're not. Now, you'll ask yourself, what about the little guys? What about the Crunchyroll and the couple of the other services out there, like Retro Crush and Stir and the Roku channel? Those, as long as those will stay ad supported, they should weather the storm that's coming, the oncoming storm, as they would say. Midnight Pulp needs to make some improvements. So does Stir. Plex is starting to move up a bit. Shudder will weather this very well. They're still growing, but when you have content, live content like Joe Bob Briggs, which brings the horror fans to that channel, and then you have Creep Show, Greg Nicotaro's Creep Show. You know, you have a lot of the great newer and older classics on there, sort of like the 1980s video store where you went to the horror section and you saw some insane horror movies, but they were driven by the box cover, which that's another thing. It was the lost art, is the box cover of the VHS and the poster art. It's not like it used to be, but you know, when you go to Shudder, they put up some of the older covers on there, and it draws the people in. You know, services like that. You know, and then you have others like Popcorn. Not so many people talk about Popcorn, but you know, it has its fans out there, its fan base. But it's basic as far as that. You know, you have the AMC app, AMC Plus. You know, as much like Discovery Plus, which is merging into Max, AMC, it's got its fans. It's The Walking Dead. It's The Walking Dead stuff is the thing that's keeping it pretty much keeping it going, and a couple of other shows, but it's not like it used to be. As far as AMC itself, AMC was a classics channel that basically, was in a different direction. Now it's moved over. Walking Dead was what put it on the map. But can they continue? Can they survive this? It's up in the air. And there are others in between: Canopy, Acorn TV, MGM Plus. I expect MGM Plus to shutter their doors too. They're probably because there's been talk to sell their content to another streamer. That's going to be a fight in itself on there. Like I said, Popcorn. You have Redbox out there. BritBox will continue to go further. Because basically it has that particular content, that I would call that PBS content. See, I grew up with a lot of Brit shows from PBS, on PBS itself. I saw iClaudius. I loved iClaudius. Great show on that. If you have never seen that mini series on there, nothing like the Masterpiece Theater, but this is where I got to see Doctor Who. This is where I got to see Upstairs, Downstairs. The Good Neighbors, and a lot of other great shows that have been on there that will continue on. Then you have, like the anime services like High Dive and Crunchyroll. I don't expect High Dive to survive this. I may be wrong, but I don't expect it, especially since they're pulling out of other countries on there. They're starting to shut down services in other multiple countries. They're going to try to push into here. But see, the thing about it is that's a big mistake. And, you need to fight to the situation, especially in the US of A, where we need more anime channels out there. I mean, we have some, but it's not toward the level of, like, for example, Crunchyroll. If I was a betting man, I would have to say that Netflix, Max, Hulu, Amazon will be the major companies that will survive this. They will weather the storm of the end. Most of the others will be gone in some way. And I'm not talking about the ad-supported channels. These are the ones that are pay channel. These are pay streaming services on there. Like I said, Disney is a major question mark. They could be one of the first. They could be one of the first out there. Peacock and Paramount are going to have to figure out their finances to stay alive. This is how it's going to go. Now, you may ask yourself, well, linear. What about the linear TV? You said you want to get back to linear. Well, here's the thing. This is what you got to pay attention to this little terminology. ATSC 3.0. If you're not familiar with what that is the system that is handling the over-air broadcast of linear television via antenna.
Hailed as the third generation of digital TV technology, NextGen TV is broadcasting in more than 60 markets. It's also expected to reach 75% of households across the country by this year, making it one of the biggest reasons why folks are cutting the cord. In seconds, Alvin connected this indoor antenna to the TV.
For under $100 to get this type of picture quality is unbelievable.
This right here shows you that you're on a NextGen TV channel. Well, one of the things that's really cool about NextGen TV is that it's internet TV, and there's on demand. So you have video on demand right from an antenna. And then you can go right to your top stories. You can see what the COVID numbers are. You can look to your weather, so you can make a plan for the rest of the day.
Companies like Nexstar and a couple other people that Mission Broadcasting, the people that own MeTV and many others have made deals concerning about broadcasting on ATSC 3.0. Right now, 1.0 is still available out there. Most people are seeing, if you're an antenna user out there, you've cut the cable already. You're watching on 1.0. Some of you might be already like in New York, which is 3.0. For example, WPIX TV, which is channel 11 here in New York. They went on Next Gen TV. They're over the air on 3.0. Especially with, El Paso, Texas, Baton Rouge, Louisiana are launching theirs as well. I mean, overall, they could end up, because the way they're talking, these companies could end up, the regular networks could end up, and independent stations like MeTV and Charge and all that could end up making like $15 billion. This is still ad supported as well, like Tubi TV. You're going to have ad supported. Now, you may say to yourself, well, what's the difference between the 1.0 to the 3.0? 3.0 is more of a digital signal, more of an HD signal. It's a much clearer signal on there. Now, for those of you, here's the thing. For those of you who are, and you could check it from the ATSC website, if your area, if it's available. If it is available and you're using a television that is older, if you're using a flat screen that is older, you do need to get a digital box for it. Unfortunately, you're going to have to spend for that. But you said, but it's an antenna. It's on that. Yes, but the signal, your television handles the 1.0 signal, not the 3.0. If you're buying a newer television these days, the newer flat screens and stuff like that, the 3.0 tuner is built into the newer television. So the industry itself already the television industries, the flat screen industry already knows to do this. They already put it in their systems. Whereas you just need the antenna, that's all you need. Now, there's a guy called Antenna Man. He's on YouTube. He'll go into deeper on the information. If you want to know a lot of information on that, go over to Antenna Man. He does a deep dive, city to state to state, city to city, town to town. Basically, how this goes along. Basically, we try to cover the overall on this on linear television, but this is what's going to keep linear TV going for a little bit longer versus cable TV. Like I said, MeTV is very popular. Charge, Comet TV, a lot. These are the classic TV channels. You get stuff like All in the Family, the Carol Burnett Show. You get a lot of the the old Western TV series. I mean, right now, when I'm recording this, right now, Wagon Train is airing right now in the late afternoon, because when I did this, it's the late afternoon. I have it on my screen right now. I'm looking at it right now. Wagon Train is going on. And, you have Gunsmoke. A lot of the great Westerns. Saturday on MeTV, you got the Three Stooges on there. You got the early morning 3-hour slot of Saturday morning cartoons with Woody Woodpecker, Bugs Bunny, and many others on there. Sunday also, you got the Flintstones and the Jetsons. You got Spenguli, which is one of the top-rated shows on MeTV, showing classic movies. And he's expanded more and added more hosts to the show. They plan to expand further on that Spenguli show. They're testing things to expand further. As much as some people don't like to tune in with me, it's doing pretty well for its time slots on both MeTV and MeTV Plus. Yes, they do have a second channel for most of you who don't know. There is a MeTV Plus with a lot of the crime shows, The Streets of San Francisco, Hawaiian Eye. They do have a late night cartoon block on Sunday nights, like the morning slot on MeTV. Then you have other channels like Antenna TV, which is a PIX channel, and they show some classic stuff there. And then many others. They're showing Roseanne. They're showing Murphy Brown. They are... I'm trying to think of the other shows down there. There's some great stuff. Wings. Wings is on there. Even though Wings is on Pluto TV, they have their own channel, but you can watch it on linear television as well. Law and Order Criminal Intent is now on Charge. It's playing on the late night up against CSI New York and CSI Miami. But this is what's going to happen in the next year. Like I said, cable on its way out. Some of these streaming services are going to shutter. Don't be surprised if some of your cable TV channels in your local district they're going belly up. It's going to happen. Or they're going to switch you to streaming. Their own streaming box on there. So you tell me in the comments below your thoughts on this for 2024. I mean, a lot has happened on 2023. 2024 is going to be bigger. It's going to be the beginning of the end of certain streaming channels and cable and the end of cable TV itself. So hope that you're having a happy New Year. If it's New Year's Eve, if you're watching this prior to New Year's Eve, be sure, get with family, get with friends, get out there, enjoy yourself. Don't be alone on New Year's Eve. Do yourself a favor on there. Get out there, enjoy it. Okay, be with people, even people that you don't know. Go to a bar that maybe you've never been before. Sit down, have yourself a drink, have yourself some dinner there around people. Talk with the people around. Talk to the bartender. Talk to your neighbors around you, sitting around you. Have a conversation. So once again, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. We'll see you on the other side on 2024. We'll be back on the 8th. We'll be fully back on the 8th. Fast Five and Man with the Show. Thank you for tuning in. And hit those credits.
Thanks for watching, commenting, and sharing this video. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe as this helps the reach of this channel. Finally, as a content viewer, you have the ability to help support this channel as new internet laws around the world will diminish our reach and affect our sponsors. If you choose to help, there are two ways listed in the description below. The first link will lead you to a pay site where you can make a monetary donation. The second will lead you to our gear shop where you can buy shirts, mugs, and other gear. Discounts will be listed on the site. Once again, thank you for watching and your support.